How swimmers can afford their cars. So reacting to today, my car down. I know I've been curious about swimmers like Squeeze. Y'all heard about Squeeze being no license and all of them like that. I've seen they drive nice expensive cars and they be wrecked, they be crashed. Just random people out here in general be having nice cars on social media and they be wrecking. So I'm really curious, man, how they be affording these shits to continue to just drive as recklessly as they do. Cause it gets to a point where it's like, damn, I know insurance gotta be crazy. You know these cars aren't insured. I'm pretty sure these cars don't even be under majority of the drive. Without further ado, we finna get into the video, man. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new, man. Welcome to the gang, man.
Ever wondered what keeps the CEOs of car rental companies up at night? Is it the price of gasoline? Maybe that one time someone returned a car with a goat in the back? Nope, probably not. But here's a hint. It involves a bunch of 17-year-olds in stolen cars. Still not ringing a bell? Well, today we're going to dive into a topic that has become a major concern for car rental companies. The trend of swimming. Now, you might be scratching your head. Swimming? Are we talking about synchronized car routines in a giant pool? Not quite. But we're talking about a certain energetic...
Go ahead and leave my video if you thought they was talking about cars in the swimming pool. Like, just go ahead and exit, bro. Like, this shit really not for you, gang. Anybody seeing this thought that, like, just go ahead and, like, unsubscribe, gang. I understand, dude. Like, this is Slow Grind Lounge anyway. This the No Mentor Lounge, dumbass nigga.
Style of driving on our public roads. A way of navigating traffic that, shall we say, isn't exactly in the driver's manual. It's a spectacle for sure. But what's the big deal for rental companies? You might think, hey, they're a big business. They surely have some kind of insurance, right? And you'd be partially correct. But what happens when those insurance policies start looking thinner than a supermodel's patience? What happens when cars come back looking like they've been through a demolition derby? Repeatedly. That's where our story really begins. So let's get into what this swimming thing actually is. Imagine a vehicle, often something with a bit of pep in its step, respectfully, or perhaps not so respectfully, making its way through congested highways with a level of, let's call it, enthusiasm. We're talking about quick lane changes, white lines, utilizing every available gap, and generally experiencing the road in a way that might raise an eyebrow or two for your average commuter. It's certainly a way to get from point A to point B.
Man, drop in the comments quick if you drive like that, man. If you a swimmer, or you a slow driver, or you just like to get to your destination slightly fast. Like, you don't be ODing, but you get through traffic when you peep. That is stupid. Drop in the comments, bro. Let me know what type of driver you is.
Eventually. Now, why would car rental companies, whose entire business model revolves around people using their cars, have an issue with this? After all, isn't that what cars are for? Driving? Well, yes, but there's a slight difference between a leisurely drive to your grandma's and, well, a more spirited exploration of a multi-lane freeway. And this brings us to the question, why on earth do these rental companies even end up handing over the keys to individuals who might engage in such reckless act of driving? It seems counterintuitive, right? They have valuable assets, and they surely want them back in one piece. You might be thinking, surely they have some kind of screening process. They check IDs. They take credit card details. They can just refuse service, right? And if something goes wrong, they'll just charge the customer. Well, if only it were that simple. Buckle up, because this is where things get a little scammy. The truth is, getting a rental car for someone intending to engage in swimming can be surprisingly easy, and it often boils down to good old-fashioned deception. Car rental companies do have procedures, but they're not foolproof, especially when faced with determined individuals. One common tactic is the use of fake identifications. With the technology available today, and no, I am definitely not talking about the dark web, creating a convincing fake ID isn't as difficult as you might think. Swimmers might use these to rent cars under a false name and persona, making it incredibly hard to track them down later. Another method involves third-party rentals. Someone with a clean driving record and legitimate identification might rent the car, only to hand it over to the swimmer. This creates a layer of separation, and the rental company might have no idea who is actually behind the wheel during those high-octane highway escapades. But sometimes it's even more blatant, with organized scams targeting rental companies. These could involve using stolen credit card information or exploiting weaknesses in the company's online booking systems. The goal is to get the car into the hands of the swimmer as quickly and with as little traceability as possible. However, it's crucial to understand that these are just potential scenarios, and they don't apply to every single driver in this scene. There's a whole community out there beyond the well-known figures, and each person probably has their own unique way of accessing these vehicles. Pinpointing one exact method is difficult. The only certainty is their consistent ability to make it happen. So, the rental companies, despite their best efforts, often find themselves unwittingly providing the very vehicles that will soon be starring in the next viral swimming video.
You ever been scammed? Have you ever went through this? Have you ever been scammed in any type of form or fashion? They said it right there, scamming in heads, man. That's the head. That's the right there. That's how they get in these rentals. So what did you learn today? You learned that they're not coming out of pocket. So when you call them a dumbass online or even in person, and you think they're hurting their feelings, you're not. Because the sad part about it is somebody else that's getting fucked in the long run. Long story short, F in the chat.
They're essentially being scammed out of their cars, one rental agreement at a time. All right, so the swimmer now has the car he wanted. But what happens next? Well, I think the videos speak for themselves.
Man, shout out Squeeze Team, bro. I still want that ride along, bro. I'm capturing everything. Footage on me, no cap.
I'm on that block, it's just me and Nina. Caught up like any fast on the street. I'm on that block, it's just me and my eater. Like food already, I pass him a beat. I'm steady trapping on top for a eater. Cause I gotta get back to the
We see these drivers pushing the limits, navigating traffic with a level of risk that would make most insurance agents spontaneously combust. But they're not going in unprepared. They often take measures to ensure their own anonymity and avoid those pesky traffic stops. First and foremost, concealment. You'll often see these drivers sporting helmets, masks, or even full face coverings. This makes it
Not that nigga Dooley. If you know, you know, man. If you know that nigga Dooley, bro, shout out that nigga Dooley. Nah, man, nigga, you don't give a fuck about anonymity.
virtually impossible to identify them from the videos, or even if they were spotted by another driver. It's really all about staying faceless and untraceable. Another common practice is to simply remove the license plate. Why have something on your car that can easily link it back to the rental company, or worse, to a potentially fake rental agreement? Off come the plates, further adding to the anonymity of the vehicle. But what exactly happens when these swimmers do happen to spot those flashing blue and red lights in their rearview mirror? Well, let's just say they're not exactly pulling over for a friendly chat. Running from the cops becomes part of the spectacle, adding another layer of risk and, unfortunately, excitement for some viewers. It's a high-stakes game of cat and mouse on public roads. So, the swim session is over, the video is uploaded, and the viewers are shaking. But what about the poor car rental company? Do they even get their vehicle back in one piece? The answer, unfortunately, is often a resounding maybe and probably not. In some cases, the car might actually be returned, perhaps with a few extra miles and a suspicious smell of burnt rubber or marijuana. But in many other instances, these vehicles come back damaged, often extensively. We're talking about everything from minor scratches and dents to full-blown body damage, blown tires, and engines that have clearly seen better days. Remember, these cars are often driven to the absolute limit, and the wear and tear can be significant. And then there are the worst-case scenarios where the cars are never returned at all. They might be abandoned on the side of the road, stashed away in a garage, or even end up being involved in accidents and impounded. For the rental company, this means a significant financial loss. But let's talk about the money now. If a rental car comes back looking like it went 10 rounds with a monster truck, do the rental companies get their money back for the damages? This is where things get even more complicated. If the rental was secured with a legitimate credit card and the driver didn't take extreme measures to hide their identity, the company might have some recourse. They can try to charge the damages to the cardholder. However, this can be a lengthy and often frustrating process, especially if the damage is extensive or if the renter disputes the charges. But what happens when the rental was obtained using a fake ID or a stolen credit card? In those cases, the rental company is often left holding the bag. They've lost their car, it's damaged, and they have no way to recover the costs. It's a direct financial hit to their bottom line. So, what can car rental companies do when they find themselves on the receiving end of this swimming epidemic? And to be honest, it's a tough situation. They can try to strengthen their verification processes, invest in better technology to detect fake IDs, and work more closely with law enforcement. However, as we've seen,
A lot early squeeze used to be on demon timing, bro. I ain't gonna lie, that nigga used to have a wheel for real. Okay, that nigga was like that.
Determined individuals can often find ways around these measures. They can also try to pursue legal action, but this can be incredibly difficult and costly, especially if the identity of the swimmer is unknown. And even if they do manage to track someone down, recovering the full costs of the damages or the lost vehicle can be a long and arduous battle. This brings us to the interesting intersection with insurance.
That nigga did, Mac. That nigga did, Mac. What the fuck?
Car rental companies have their own insurance policies, but these policies often have deductibles and limitations. If a car is damaged or lost due to illegal activity, the insurance company might be hesitant to pay out, especially if there's a lack of a clear digital footprint linking the damage to a specific individual. This is where the swimmer's efforts to remain anonymous really hurt the rental companies. If there's no clear evidence of who was driving the car during those reckless stunts, it becomes much harder for the rental company's insurance to cover the losses. Now,
Playing with the police is crazy work. NYPD, bro. I don't know. I mean, y'all are just hilarious at this point. I do everything. NYPD does it all.
a question that's probably on a lot of your minds. Why can't the police just trace down the specific vehicles in these swim videos, identify the car, track its ownership, even if it's fake, and then bust the whole operation? It sounds logical, right? See the car, find the guy, case closed. Well, as you might have gathered by now, it's definitely not that simple. Remember all those layers of anonymity we've been talking about? The stolen cars, the rented vehicles under fake names or through third parties, the removed license plates? All of that is specifically designed to prevent exactly that kind of straightforward tracing. Even if a crystal clear video shows a specific car swimming, linking that exact vehicle back to the individuals orchestrating these events is a monumental challenge for law enforcement. They're dealing with a deliberate effort to obfuscate and disappear, making that direct line of investigation incredibly difficult to establish. Ultimately, the relationship between car rental companies and swimmers is a classic case of cat and mouse, with the rental companies often finding themselves in the unenviable role of the mouse. They're providing the tools for a dangerous and costly trend, and they're often left to pick up the pieces, both literally and financially.
Damn.
It's a situation that highlights the challenges of operating in a world where anonymity is increasingly easy to achieve, and where the allure of online fame can sometimes outweigh the real-world consequences. So, the next time you see one of those swimming videos, spare a thought for the car rental company who might be watching with a mixture of fear and a rapidly dwindling profit margin. Ever wonder
How y'all feel about that, man? Y'all comments about them losing money and going to jail for life doesn't matter. Cause at the end of the day, they still gonna do it. Honestly, you talking shit enables them because they getting money and they enjoying life. At the end of the day, they're doing what it is they want to do, regardless of who it affects. You know, fuck that internet shit, man. Live your life. Live your fucking life. If y'all like the video, I love all y'all that's watching. Drop a like, subscribe, drop in the comments. Do you fuck with cars? Are you against swimming? Are you for swimming? Do you try swimming? Or you say fuck no? Which side are you on? Are you neutral? You ain't got nothing against it, but you're not gonna try it. Like I said, catch you on the next video. Enjoy your life, live it, make some money.